Hi guys, welcome to Website Learners First podcast. I'm Shyam Sundar, the founder and CEO of Website Learners. In this podcast, we're interviewing the most successful entrepreneurs online who have made an impact. Today we have someone called as Sujay. So he's the man behind Brainstorm Force, which is the company that has built Astra. So you might have seen in our videos when we are building a website, we use the Astra theme and then use that to build the website. So Sujay is the person who is behind the Astra theme, and it has over 1 million active users. So it's a very visionary product. And let's hear it from Sujay on his journey towards success. So welcome, Sujay. Welcome to the first ever entrepreneur interview that we are conducting at Website Learners. I'm very proud that entrepreneur from India has created such an amazing product. So I know how revolutionary Astro was when you came to the market. It was day and night difference between what others were doing. And I know that is from your vision. That came from your vision of how the product should be. So very excited to have you here. And let's start with the questions. Oh, yeah.
Hey Sham, thanks for having me. It's my honor and really a honor that I'm the first one. And likewise, same goes to website. I can say the same thing about you. Other educational channels on YouTube, they were doing things very differently. But your style, your approach to creating the educational content has been very different. And people had been creating YouTube videos, content on YouTube for a long time, but you're probably the first one in the WordPress space who has a million subscription mark, right? So congrats to you guys as well.
Thank you. Yeah. So let's start with the questions. So I think our audience, they are people who are beginners and they are looking to start some online business. So for most people, we are the gateway to launch their first website. So this, I believe this video or this sharing of yours would be very helpful for them to have the knowledge in their own journey. So can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you got started?
Absolutely. So I come from a typical Indian middle class family. My dad is or was a government servant. He is in the agriculture research, right? Sugarcane is a very big crop in my state, like Maharashtra. And he's the one who invented some really popular varieties of sugarcane. I mean, there are some sugarcane varieties which like are the varieties which are reason which are like which yield about 80% of the sugarcane production in Maharashtra. So I'm very proud of him. He worked in the Indian government job as a sugarcane researcher, and he has done a pretty phenomenal work. So that's the kind of family I come from. My mom was a housemaker. I have a brother who is colonel in the Indian Army, and I'm the only one who got in the business. So I never thought I would get in the business, but somehow one thing led to another, and I accidentally stumbled upon entrepreneurship. So this is not what I always had in mind, but I'm glad that I'm here and I'm able to create some great products for the entire internet and the entire community.
Okay. And in your blog, you had posted a story of yours, and then you had mentioned that you had dropped out of college to pursue a business. So, what was the reason behind that? What was the push that made you drop out of college, and how do you know that is a better path?
Yeah, so maybe I will take a little bit one step behind and I will explain like how that happened. So I grew up
Yeah.
in a very small village of Maharashtra. The village is called Lonand. It's a very small village. Like about when I was there, it was like a population was about like 8 to 9,000 people was there. And I studied in a Marathi medium. There was just one school in my village, and that was Marathi medium school. So that's where I learned. And when I completed my 10th standard for the further education, my family decided that hey, I should go to a bigger city where I can probably get a better education because my family knew and I myself wanted to become a IIT engineer. So in Pune, there were various institutes for IIT, and for like better studies, I decided to come to Pune. But when I came here, I'm in my 11th and 12th. Everything was in English, and I was very weak in English at that time. And even I think I'm still weak in English. But yeah, I couldn't speak any English at that time. Even my Hindi was very bad. I couldn't speak any Hindi, and everyone like the area where I like started staying, the college that I joined and the institute that I joined, everyone was speaking Hindi, English, and then I just couldn't make any friends. I just did not know what to do until that time. Like I was staying with my family, I had a very like warm comfort of the family, but things totally went upside down when I came to Pune. And that's when I started turning to internet, turning to computer. I started going to the cyber cafes because I had to kill time somewhere. I wasn't finding good time in the classes. I wasn't having a good time there. So I just started going to cyber cafes and started joining Yahoo chat rooms, Orkut. There were like Orkut communities. There were other forums. So that's where I started killing my time. Then I came to my higher education. I joined Symbiosis College and I still was very active in the communities, various internet groups. But by then, like I had lost interest in the Yahoo chat rooms and Orkut communities. But I was spending more and more time in the other forums where I could learn web design, web development. I had started learning PHP. I had stumbled upon Joomla back then. So when I joined Symbiosis College, when I was in the first year of the college, Symbiosis at that point had a very weak internet presence, right? It was back in 2006, something like that. The website of the college was static, like maybe 2, 3, 5 pages website. It was not well designed. Things were broken there, and I felt really bad. A college such as Symbiosis, which is very popular among foreigners, a lot of people from various different countries come to Symbiosis for taking their studies, did not have a lot of good information about it on the internet. Meaning the website was pretty basic, the design was bad, and a lot of basic elements were missing from the website. So I decided to visit the principal. I had never done a sales pitch or anything like that before. So I decided to visit the faculty. I somehow gathered the courage and visited the principal of the college and asked him, I would like to maybe build a website for our college. Would you like that? I would just need some assistance from you. And somehow, maybe just looking at my enthusiasm, my willingness to help, probably he agreed. And I decided to build the website for the college. So I spent 2 or 3 months, day and night out. Like from those 3 to 5 page website, I built like about a 200 page website for the Symbiosis College. With the help of faculty, I even helped them create their online admission system. So that's how I like started like getting clients. So when I had built a website for Symbiosis College, everything went really good. The website was really got very popular because other institutes at that time did not have a good website. So I had my contact information in the footer. Other people started approaching us, and that's how I
Oh,
started getting some clients. Yeah, people really liked that website, and people were finding my information and finding and coming to us.
right.
So that's
Right.
how people started approaching us. And in the same time, I had started freelance gigs on there are freelance communities. Nowadays, the Fiverr is very popular. Back then, there was freelancer.com, elance.com, odis.com. And all this was not to make money, but I was just having a good time. I just wanted to apply my knowledge, the knowledge that I had learned by spending time on the internet, like my PHP, Joomla, web design. So I just wanted to apply that knowledge. And it wasn't just the websites, I was good at the graphics as well. So anything that I could find, like some people needed help with the logos, some people needed help with like data migration, conversions, and things like that. So I started applying that. So that's how things started. I was really good in the college. I had really good marks, and I don't really have anything against the colleges, institutes. But I was having a better time applying my knowledge to the real companies, and I was having a better time at helping them and understanding how I can fix their problems and provide them solutions. So when there was a first Diwali vacation in the college, like a 6 semester break, I decided to join a company, a startup company where I could probably get an internship. So I applied for the internship. They accepted me, and I joined there as an intern, like for a month, 2 month period in the Diwali vacation period. So that's when I started like understanding like how things are done professional at that point, because I made good friends. I understood that company was an internet marketing company. They were providing, of course, they had some other departments as well, but they blessed their internet marketing department. So I understood how SEO is done. What is SEO? What is page rank? What is on-page SEO? What is pay-per-click? How email marketing works and things like that. I was a good developer at that point, but I got very interested in the marketing also. So I learned marketing. I learned other things along with it, such as sales. Yeah. And after I completed my internship, I went back to the college, but probably I was never the same again. I wanted to do that more and more. And I, anyways, was getting approached by other people who wanted their websites built or who want some help with their logos, anything. I was doing that. So there I had made a friend, Abhijit, who is the co-founder of Brainstorm Force, who was on a similar path as me. He had spent good amount of time in that company, and he wanted to start his journey. So he knew like what I was doing, and he pitched me like, hey, like why don't we maybe just take it on the next level? Right now we are doing this as a freelancer, so why don't we register a proper company and why don't we take it to the next level? And I was like, yeah, I said like, why not? And we decided to register a domain name. That was on 1st of March 2009 or something like that. So just yesterday we celebrated our 14th anniversary. So I remember like when we registered our first domain name, and even back then I remember like how the domain was registered. There were no payment gateways back then. We did not have a credit card. We did not have a debit card. So we actually had to write a check, go in the bank, deposit in the bank, and then after 5 days, after receiving the money, they would let us know, hey, your domain is registered now. So that was a very memorable day when we registered the domain name. So after registering the domain name, we continued on our serving our customers that we were already getting. And as the workload grew, I decided to take a break from the college without even telling my parents. So I decided to take a break. I started bunking my classes. And slowly I got more interested in the business rather than the college.
Okay. So the interesting part was when you said you made the website for the college and people started finding you from the footer link. So that's like an amazing way of marketing. And regarding the website, like how do you build that website? Was it WordPress at the time or some other tool that you used?
It was Joomla back then.
Joomla.
Yeah, Joomla is another content marketing system for those who don't know. At that time, like WordPress and Joomla were very popular. I would say even Joomla was even more popular than WordPress back then. But it was a little bit more difficult, and WordPress grew more and more market share in the upcoming years. But that website was built using Joomla, a very similar content management system such as WordPress. And yeah, I made the website for the college not for making money. I just genuinely wanted to make help. So a lot of students, a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs these days like come to me and ask, hey, I want to make a lot of money. How can I get in the business? And that's what I tell them. I never got in the business because I wanted to make money. Honestly, I got in the business because I was liking what I did and I wanted to do more of it. I just wanted to help someone. So I feel like that's the best approach if you want to get in the entrepreneurship. Find your passion, find how you can help people. Of course, that passion should be tied in a way that you make money as well. But if just making money is your goal, maybe probably you won't be successful. So yeah, I just wanted to help college. I, of course, charged them for the hosting, domain, like for the entire 200 page website. The cost to the Symbiosis College was like about 8,000 rupees, including the photography and a lot of things like that. So I remember like I probably spent even more money than I made from that gig. But that was the gig like that gave me a little bit of a fame or name or whatever. And then I started getting approached by a lot of other reputed colleges and institutes.
And then you said initially the website was around 3 or 5 pages, right? Like how does that become into 200 page?
On that website, we created a bio for all the departments. There were research papers, there were case studies, there were testimonials, there were alumni pages. There was a directory for alumni. We made into a dynamic website. There were blogs. So it became a very nice 200-page website.
Oh. So were you a coder back then or were you like using the Joomla like a CMS most of the time? How much of coding was involved in that website?
Even though I knew code, but I always wanted to find better ways to build a website because I knew that this website will to be updated all the time because people admissions, and at the time of admissions they need to put up notices, they need to put new news. I made sure that website was user friendly, so I did not use a lot of code. Similar to WordPress, Joomla is a CMS once again, and I created some basic template with the help of my other friends who were very good at Joomla. So I had actually taken their help to make sure that I would create a custom template, custom theme. But it was built for the no coders, and I did not code a lot of things on that myself because even though I was a very good, I had a good understanding of the code. I did not have a good understanding of the Joomla's theme templating system. So I took a help of my friends who were good at it.
Okay, I asked because just to know like how much of a coding background is needed to become an entrepreneur as yourself. So would you say it's a must or it's a kind of optional one?
No, these days, when back then, at least creating a website would mean that you would need knowledge of the code. Even WordPress was very different. You couldn't put the menus on the your website. You couldn't have the custom post types, etc., etc. And these days, like this is 2023 now. These days, the knowledge of code is not really needed. There are so many no-code tools, and you can build a pretty amazing softwares using no-code tools. So I don't think the knowledge of coding is necessary, but it helps to have the understanding of how programs work, how technology works, how the coding works. So some basic knowledge, even though you don't have a practical understanding, a theoretical understanding of like how databases function, what are the loops, what are the functions, what is object oriented, things like that are very handy. So I would, though even though it is not necessary, I would encourage anyone to like understand the concepts of it.
So you started the business with your co-founder Abhijit, And then what happened from there? Like, what were the things that really grew the business at that time?
I remember particularly on Elance, there was a customer from Colorado, United States. The name of that business was Click to Ink. Right? So they were selling cartridges, printers, and things like that. That became like one of our like big clients. They were pretty popular there, and yeah, we developed a very good working relationship with them, and we did their website redesign. We did their marketing, SEO, PPC, and yeah, when we started working with them, they were not so big, but yeah, they were a startup just as us. But yeah, through internet, through our website that we made for them, through the SEO that we did for them, they grew pretty rapidly. They had a lot of customers and they're pretty very happy. So again, word of mouth became like our primary marketing channel. So they started referring us to more friends of theirs, right? So they recommended us to another friend of theirs who were into packing and moving. So we did same thing for them. They recommended us to his dentist, and another dentist became customer of ours. So mainly, even though we were getting customers from other channels as well, such as freelancing websites, but word of mouth is the biggest marketing that worked for us in those days, and that's how our client base grew. And as Abhijit and I was working with all these customers, we understood that we wouldn't be able to handle that on our own. We had a friend at that point, like we had friends looking for jobs who were getting finished with their colleges. We thought of those people great fit for us. So those were our friends. We approached them and, hey, this is what we are doing. Would you be able to would like to join us? And those people happily joined us. That's how we started growing our team slowly.
Okay, so that sounds really good. What was the initial roles that you hired for the company?
Yeah, our SEO services very popular. We needed help with the link building at that time. So the initial roles were like a link building or like SEO roles, I would say. And we generally hired freshers and we trained them, we worked with them, we worked on them, and we helped them understand how things work, how SEO works. And we just needed some help. We did not even know how to hire people. I did not know how to take interviews and all that. So we just approached our friends and who were like in the need of the jobs. They joined us. We taught them how SEO works. So in the initial days, I remember most of the people I hired were SEOs or they were rather freshers, and we got them in the SEO industry.
Sure. So I believe it would be you training the freshers, right? What would be Abhijit's role at the time?
I had a experience with the SEO, and I had experience with the website. So I would do the on-page SEO. I would do speaking to the clients. I would do the business development, and Abhijit would handle the operations of the business, such as planning the SEO strategies. So Abhijit was very good at that, and I was mainly in the on-page SEO. I was mainly in the speaking to the clients. It was a family, right? So in the family, you take whatever work was necessary. So we did not really had job descriptions for both of us, or the segments or categories or departments for both of us, whatever. But I was good at speaking to customers, maintaining relationship with them. And Abhijit was good at executing, the SEO campaigns for our customers, making sure things are done on the time. So that's how we did it.
Okay. And what were the major challenges at the beginning when you started?
When we challenges back then were very raw and very raw level challenges. So the first big challenge was, like I said, getting the domain name. Second big problem back then in 2009 was like getting the internet connection. So the only company, popular company in India back then was like BSNL. So the challenges back then were like pretty raw challenges, not the challenges like today. The challenges were like how to hire people. We did not know anything about hiring people. So I even remember taking my first interview and I did not even know what to ask because I myself had not given a lot of interviews at that time. But we needed people. We needed people who could join us. And there were people who were applying for jobs from our website. So we decided to take the interviews, and I did not even know like how things work, what questions to ask. There were no knowledge as it is available today, how to take interviews or how to do this, how to do that. So challenges back then were pretty raw.
But when it is a service based business, right? Like you were like the one you were doing. So how do you get the confidence to hire people and also know that there would be always every month constant revenue and clients?
Right.
So,
So before we started hiring people, we had a pretty solid cash flow. So we built business slowly and steadily, made sure that we have enough reserves in the bank account, made sure that we have cash flow, we have enough monthly contracts, and then only we would hire people. So we always feel like we are understaffed, but that was the way to do it. And the beauty of the SEO projects were like they are typically executed in a monthly manner. It's not like a web design contracts where you make a website and then you have to look for a new client. Even there are ways to tackle that with the monthly care plans and things like that. but we always believed in building the monthly recurring revenue. So we had monthly packages for our SEO customers where we would do the SEO and then we would keep on maintaining those contracts. Even for the websites, I would recommend to the freelancer, don't just build the website, but find a way how you can tie in a service which can build you predictable monthly recurring revenue. It could be through the care plans, it could be via maintaining and updating the website. So you can put up a contract for your web design clients so that you will have a predictable revenue. So as we had built up a predictable revenue, as we had enough, a little bit of reserves in the bank account, we could hire people and we had that kind of a confidence.
Then, as we know, the eventually you started building products for WordPress. And how did from service you went into the product lineup? And what
Right.
kind of resources it took to start that?
Yeah, that's a good question because transitioning to the products, it was again unintentional. So what happened about 10 years ago, there was a word camp in Pune. So I attended that word camp and I got very inspired by the community of the WordPress. There were some plugin developers that came in. And I thought, okay, these people have built really great products. They have great traction and maybe we should build some products as well. So that's what really inspired me. So I started thinking of ideas, how we could do it. But none of the ideas clicked because things seemed like I probably would do this, do that, but none of the ideas clicked. And then one day, as we were serving our SEO clients, I understood that there is this new concept of schema that Google had introduced, right? Schema rich snippets. And I felt, hey, maybe are there like WordPress plugins or has anyone productized this new concept? But there was none. And we wanted to implement it for our client websites. So I assembled a small team of developers that we had at that time in our company and started working on it. We built this plugin in about 1 month. It wasn't a team really. It was like me and maybe a couple of other guys, maybe a UI guy and maybe a developer, backend developer. And we built a really amazing plugin at that time, called it schema.org rich snippets, and we released it on the WordPress repository. And it was an instant hit. Everyone in the SEO industry started recommending that plugin. And I personally was giving support for that plugin. I had that experience of providing good service to our customers from the agency business, from the service business. So even though it was a very free plugin, we were always like quick to respond. It even had a contact form in the backend itself. So if people had any questions, they would reach out to us. And I personally had a lot of fun. And yeah, I was enjoying it, helping people understanding how they're implementing SEO or our plugin, like our small plugin on their website. So in just about a year, like it crossed 50,000 downloads. It got mentions on all the websites such as Search in Journal. At one point, I remember like even Google's blog had linked that our plugin for people who wanted to implement that sort of schema on their website. So Neil Patel, Search in Journal, all the big publishers, everyone was talking or started linking to us. So that gave us a confidence that we could build a product and that can get popular. So that was our very first product.
Yeah, it makes me understand like how you got into the journey of the products.
Yeah, like I said, all our ventures, all my life, I feel like I have built free services or free things for people. And then it somehow I figured out how to make money out of it. So making money, this was a free plugin and I was serving people and I was having a lot of fun. So making money was not an intention really. I just wanted to like try how the products world would work. People in the WordCamp had really inspired me. They had created beautiful products and they were showing like how their plugins had 10,000 downloads. And I was very inspired. Like a small product of theirs was like getting downloaded 10,000 times. So I really thought this is my way to touch more lives, serve more people. And yeah, that's why I decided to build this product. To this point, this plugin is absolutely free. So yeah, we really charge money for it. But it gave us a lot of confidence. It gave us a good understanding of how products are developed, how products could be made.
So it like when you get featured in these big companies, so you kind of understand about the power of the product. Like when you build something useful, it automatically gets marketed, right? When you build something so good, the marketing comes to you.
That is so true. That is so true. That has happened with most of our products. But I will also tell you that some of the products that we developed never ripped off. So after this particular product, I was very passionate about hiring. I was hiring people myself. So I thought of building a HRMS, a hiring management system, they call it. So I wanted to build that applicant tracking system. So I built a very intuitive, very nice product, like for almost a year. Like we had a team of 3, 4 people working on it day in, day out, very passionate. We built a really very good interface. But again, this is not a WordPress plugin that we could just launch somewhere and people would start talking about it. We built this product. I then did not know how to sell it, how to market it. And then the product eventually tanked. No one talked about it, even though product was very good. We used it internally for many years, but it got tanked. So services and product business have their own pros and cons. So in the service, like you sell what you don't have. Customers give you the requirement, you build it, and you get paid for it. Whereas I call it like profit and loss business. So instantly you have a instant you make profits. Like you have very little chances of making losses. But in the product side, like it's a balance sheet kind of a business. Whereas you need a little bit of a thick balance sheet. You need to spend time in the research. You need to spend time in building up the product and then marketing the product. And it could maybe after a year or maybe 6 months, depending on how big is the product, it can start selling and then it will take some time to make money. So these are two different animals. Both have their own beauties, but certainly products have their own scale. You can reach more lives and serve more customers by you can scale your business with the products. But I wouldn't say that services are bad, products are better. They both have their own beauties. And I would suggest if you are just starting out, you can start with the services and slowly transition the products. That's the best way. Other people even have great ideas for the products. They raise money from the venture capital so that they get that kind of a balance sheet I talked about and develop that product. But both have their own beauties.
Okay. So I imagine in your journey there would be a lot of hit products and a lot of products that didn't do well. So could
Yeah,
you give us a list of the products which were like the most hit and like from starting from the best to the last, and then the products which didn't make it? Maybe if you
absolutely.
have a short list in your mind.
So I have built about, I don't know, like at this point, I have built more than 20 products. Some
Okay.
of them are free, some of them are premium products, some of them did wonders, some of them went nowhere at all. I will start with the list of like popular ones, which you probably are aware of. So we have built Astra. It is the only theme on the WordPress repository. At least about a year ago, it was the only theme on the WordPress repository that, besides the default 2020 themes, that had more than a million active installations. So this product, when we launched it, it instantly worked. Even though people felt like themes market is pretty, there were almost like 5 themes being launched on the Invoto marketplace every single day. People thought, who would build themes now? What differentiators can people bring in the themes now? We launched Astra and it became because of the different angle that we found, a different approach that we took, a bold approach that we took. Whereas every theme was like you're saying, hey, we have this feature, that feature. We said we don't have any features at all. It's a bare bone lightweight theme and it still can do anything that you want. It's a pretty customizable theme. So we found that people really liked it. And even though like it was a very competitive market, it was like hit. So this is one. Second one. So even before we launched Astra, we wanted to build a theme and we needed page building components, right? So we thought of building our own page builder. We were building it, but we found there was another page builder at that time called Visual Composer. Now it is named as W Bakery. That was pretty, I mean, decent at that time. And we felt, I mean, whatever we wanted to build, it is already in there. Like, why would we build another one? But we found some gaps in there, right? So we thought of, hey, maybe we can just extend that page builder, send the extended version to the original author of that page builder. They would probably accept it, and then we can just start using that in our theme. So we did all those improvements in their product. We sent them in technical language, it's called a pull request to their code repository. But they said, hey, why don't you maybe all the changes that you have done are really good, but why don't you make this as an add-on? We have this add-on system. At that time, like no one really had built add-ons for the other WordPress product. But they said, like, why don't you make this as an add-on? Start selling that as an add-on for our page builder. We said, yeah, maybe let's do that. And we tried that. And already that page builder was getting names for itself. And people found limitations in that. And people found there is an add-on. So instantly we started getting a lot of customers who were not happy with that page builder. They were happy, but they wanted more features. They started like buying our add-on. So that became ultimate add-ons for Visual Composer. So that was an instant hit as well. Within just like less than a week, more than 100 copies were sold and we were very pumped about it. So that was our actual first premium product, right? So I
Right.
can go on with a list like that. So there was many other products that we have done in a similar way. So ultimate add-ons for Visual Composer, we built ultimate add-ons for WP Builder, we built ultimate add-ons for Elementor, and these have been like pretty successful products. We have built Schema Pro on the similar concept of earlier free plugin. We launched a premium plugin, so that was even a successful product. So these are all successful products. But some products did not do well. For example, I already gave the example of HRMS, and there was even after that we were working on a WordPress theme. We called it a King theme for whatever reason. So the name of that theme was a King theme. We worked day in, day and out, day and out on that theme, but we never were able to like market it properly, or never
Yep.
able to find that angle in that theme so that it could be. We tried to release it on the WordPress repository, but it was never approved there for various reasons, and yeah, that was tanked. There was, I would say, the list can go on of the failed products. We still are building a lot of products which probably will fail. So yeah, I mean, there are failures and success in the business. The only thing matters is keep pushing, trying to find your path of failures.
Mhm. Have you ever found a pattern in the failures? If we do this is failing, so we should not do this. So, for example, in WordPress, the biggest advantage was there is already a lot of users for WordPress. And then when you build something which improves WordPress, then you get a lot of adoption for it. Whereas in the HRMS, you have to find a brand new audience, right? Like from scratch, you have to find the audience. So, similar to that, do you have any patterns that you see in your hits and misses?
Absolutely. So firstly, I would say like there are two or three types of products. So first type is a vitamin. Second type is a painkiller. Third type would be supplements, right? These are medical terms.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you build a painkiller, people are in a pain and people need a solution. Those products are typically like tend to do well. Like you kill the pain for the people because people are already in a pain and people need a solution, and people tend to easily spend their money, or people tend to get those products because those are painkillers, right? So the example would be like if you build antivirus, that is a painkiller in the WordPress ecosystem, like security products, yeah, something like that, which can clean up a website, hack website, things like that. So those are painkillers. Like maybe even a performance, people have a slow website and they want a speed. So those are the painkillers. So painkillers typically do well in my opinion. Second are the supplements. Supplements are like people already have something and people want more of it. So the example I gave was like people were using a particular page builder and we built a supplement to that. And people thought, hey, just by spending a little bit of more money, I can get more. So those are
Nice.
supplement products, right? So those tend to do well as well. And there are vitamins. Vitamins are like very good for our health and we should take vitamins. But people don't pay a lot of attention to it. So example of that could be, I don't know, like a backup product for a WordPress. People don't understand the importance of a backup. It's a good for your health of the website or whatever. But that's the one pattern that I have found. And the other patterns are in the failures are like a lot of times we spend too much time in building it. We think of something too big. We spend time in building it in a vast manner. We spend a lot of time on it. And then after a year, we understand that probably we have done some mistakes in the product. So these days, what I try to do is build products in a MVP fashion. So MVP stands for minimal viable product. I will give you another analogy. So if you want to build a car, don't just directly try to build, I don't know, like Mercedes car or whatever. Maybe try to build a very maybe small two-wheeler first, then make it a three, then make it a like small four-wheeler car and slowly make it into a Mercedes. So try to do it in that way. If you in the first shot itself try to make a Mercedes, you will end up spending a lot of time on building it, and by the time you build a Mercedes, you will understand that maybe Mercedes is not, it's not people want. People probably want a BMW or something else. Or maybe there are some flaws in the Mercedes. You thought like those are really features, but people don't want that. So build it in an iterative model. Build it, ship it, take feedback, keep on improving, and go further. So that's the best way to avoid the failures, in my opinion, and avoid the big losses. So I would say, yeah, these are the two patterns that I have seen. Whenever I have built something too big, I felt like it is too late, and now we have made so many mistakes, and now there is no coming back, and there would be so many changes in the product required. And like we aim for a Mercedes, but it is totally something different that we than we wanted. Probably we built a truck. Yeah.
Understood. That is very insightful. The three ways of categorizing the products. So I think we have talked a lot about the products. So now let's go a little bit into the how. I think how many people do you have on your team right now?
Right now we're a team of about 140 people.
140 people. So
Yeah.
how do ideas flow in your company? So let's say a new product. So how does that product take shape when the company the size of yours right now?
Absolutely. So firstly, we are a pretty 140, though it might sound like a small number, maybe a big number, but I feel like we are at a perfect size and shape. So we have like pretty small teams. So our teams are typically around 3 to 8 people. Don't like to have more than 8 people in one team, so that they kind of maintain their own structure. People feel like they are heard, They are not like being one of 3 or 5 people or 8 people is always better than being one of those 140. So we have built our company structure in a way that we have pretty small teams. Let's say we have a product like Astra. So Astra's development team would be like about 7 to 8 people, or maybe 5 to 8 people, right? So at that time, people feel heard. The innovation continues because at that size, people have a better communication, better transparency. Ideas can flow very easily within that particular group, and that's how we enable everyone in the company to suggest their ideas. And yeah, we can build those very rapidly. And we operate in a agile manner. So agile is a software development methodology. So through which we have roles, responsibilities among that like team of 5 to 8 people. So that there is a product owner who has a certain responsibility. There is a scrum master. There are like a scrum team. So through the structure like that, innovation can flow very easily.
Okay. So how much percentage of ideas would you say comes from the main person, which is you, and how much of the initial ideas comes from the rest of the team members?
Yeah, I would say the main product ideas, like it is a responsibility of mine as well as the main responsibility is mine to understand or decide which type of product to build. Now that I have that experience, now that I have understood the market, now that I have understanding of our customer and user base, I feel like I can maybe sometimes understand. Of course, I still fail, but I get an understanding which products to build. But once I have that understanding, once I build the angle for the product, how that product should be structured or it should be the core features. Now it becomes the team's responsibility to innovate inside. So in a team, like we have a role called product owner. So the role of the product owner is the role of a visionary. So person who typically has lots of is excited about that problem. Person who can like dream about that problem or find innovative ways to solve that problem. So that's the role of a product owner. So he keeps on thinking about how we can innovate inside that product. He keeps on researching. He keeps on understanding user problems. He keeps on talking to the users, like taking user interviews or just talking to people like, hey, probably you use this now. What are the challenges? What are the pain points? And then that it becomes a role of that particular person to create a backlog. So backlog is a type of ideas or features that we have to build, and then our development team builds that. So the product owner is the guy who sets the vision for the product. And then there are other team members who can, of course, suggest their ideas, list their ideas in the backlog, share those with the product owners. And product owner can get an understanding of those ideas and make sure those are heard and then those are listed and the priorities are decided and those get developed. So my role is very initial level where I think of the product idea, I think of the angle, how the product should be. But the most of the innovation, I would say, this is just a 10% of the job. The rest 90% of the job is innovating inside the product, like finding maybe small innovations like how the UI should be built, how the button should be, how the style guide should be, how a certain feature should be built, etc., etc. So those are probably built by the product owners, and my job is to work closely with the product owners, understanding how things are built, etc. And that's how we try to like keep the flow of ideas going and the innovation going.
All right. So do you ever feel like you have too many products and then do you try to kill a product? Let's say it's not working as well as it needs to, like Google Plus, like that. Do you ever kill a product?
Yeah, we certainly have killed a few products, or not killed, but we did not develop them further. And that was not because we had a lot of products. That was mainly because we thought the way we address the problem, it needs another approach now, or other people have done a much better job, and maybe we need a fresh approach towards that. And we probably stopped developing that there onwards, and we maintained those products. So in our company, we haven't killed the products if they had customers, because we understand that some people are using those, and if we just kill them, it might affect those people. But we did not develop them further because we thought like those need a fresh angle. The approach that we took at solving that problem needs another perspective, or some other people have built it in a much better way. People would probably find a better solution by going to the competitors. So we have done that quite a few times.
Okay. And then personally, whenever we think about creating a new product, we also need to think about the maintenance, how long we would be able to maintain the product and support the product. So how do you approach maintenance? So you said there are teams of people who works on individual products. So does those teams stay even after the product is done, or how does the maintenance happen?
So software development is a pretty continuous process, ongoing process. So we operate in the fashion of sprints. What we do is we firstly decide the vision. Let's say there is Astra. Let's talk with the example Astra. So Astra is at this point like about a 6-year old product, right? It has all the features or most of the features that people need or expect from a theme. But there are maintenance necessary, like some features need renovation, some features need rebuilding, some features need bug fixes. So what we do is we firstly operate on a quarter by quarter basis. So in a particular quarter, in the month of let's say March, we decide, hey, I mean for this quarter, we want to identify or we want to fix or we want to improve or we want to build this 3 to 5 different things. So that sets the tone for the product for that quarter. So that could mean we add some new features. That could mean we improve certain features, or that could mean we improve in certain areas. So only we try to fix only 3 to 4 or 3 to 5 problems in a quarter, and rest is based on the customer feedback. So people a lot of times encounter some bugs, encounter some issues, suggest some improvements. So based on that, I describe the job of a product owner. So that person creates a backlog and sets the priority. I mean, what to build, how to build, when to build. And he's the guy who is a mini CEO of that company. He decides the priorities, he decides when to build and what to build. So he maintains our project management system where priorities to the features and tasks and issues are given. So every 15 days, we have a release cycle. So based on the priorities given by the product owner, we keep on improving, making the improvements in the products.
So what you're saying is, if you, let's say, if you launch a new product, it means the maintenance is a given. So you cannot stop maintaining it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Kind of
The software.
you live with the product for the rest of your life.
That is very true. When you build a product, unless you get no customers, probably you can just get away with that. But the day you start getting customers, you will get feature requests, you will get bug reports. You will yourself find that your competitors are doing some things better. You will yourself find that our customers still have this problem that we can solve by our product. So the maintenance and improvements are given the day you launch a product or the day you start getting customers.
That's very interesting, actually. So I think you mentioned a lot of things already, but what would you say is your secret to success?
I don't, or maybe there
Yeah.
could.
I think you mentioned a few points. Do it for free, just with the mind of helping people, and automatically the money follows. So is there any other?
Sure. So, firstly, I believe like business is just about finding good people and helping them in some way or other. It could be your employees, your team, it could be your customers, it could be your partners. So, if you have a knack of finding like what someone wants and how you can like probably solve that problem, you can build a business. So, probably that's the secret of our success. Just an example, website learners, you guys are very good at creating the content. You guys are very good at helping people build a website or the educational part. But the theme part or like the templates part is probably we can offer to you guys, right? We can build up a partnership with you guys in a way that, hey, maybe you are developing or you guys are very good at creating content. We would be building a software for you. So it's a win-win. This is just one example. So it's all about finding the right angles for your product or finding the right angles with your partners, with your team, with your customers. So if you are able to find those angles, you will probably have a good success in the business. And I believe like throughout my career, our company, our team has been able to like find win-win situations so that everyone wins.
What do you do to stay up to date with the latest trends?
I like to read a lot. I have subscribed to the news or newsletters from the industries. I use a feed software, Feedly, through which I get updated. I understand like what's happening whenever someone writes anything. So that's first. Secondly, I'm a part of a few Facebook groups where people are always like sharing if anything new comes up or people share their problems, people share their issues. So that's another way of understanding what people want, what people don't want, what people have issues with, or the psychology. So that's the second source. And I would say I am a kind of a YouTube addict. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. And YouTube is the source where I learn a lot.
So, as a business owner, how do you balance your personal life and your business?
I think when you build a business in a way that you have fun while doing the business doesn't feel like a work anymore. Or it doesn't, you don't, at that point, you don't want to know. People say work life balance, but I say work life integration. So if you are able to find a good business that you're really passionate about, you enjoy building it. So there is no more, you don't have to worry about the balancing between business and your life. You integrate it, right? That's the way I look at it. I don't really need or find the need to separate, hey, like it's 5 p.m., I shut off my devices. I always hear about these things like people don't touch their smartphones or people don't touch their laptops on the weekends. They try to go out with the family or whatever. But I don't really feel the need. Whenever I'm with the family, probably I will get a ping or two and I'll just respond to it and then I'm happy with the family. So yeah, that is the like work life integration rather than finding the work life balance.
And okay, so we are almost reaching the end. So this is regarding AI. We have some very revolutionary AI stuff coming up in the industry. So what do you think about that? Do you think it would affect the WordPress area, or what are your thoughts on the AI part?
So we started building or developing Brainstorm Force back in 2008, 9, and it was a very interesting time because internet was just coming to India. Like I said, like we had to struggle to get internet access. But the benefit of that was like a lot of businesses were coming online as well, and we grew up with the internet. So this is the India part, but globally speaking, back in 1990s, 94, 95, there are companies like Yahoo, Google, and all the internet companies are built. So I feel like that time is coming again. Like it's a very revolutionary time. A lot of things are happening. So the same thing like when the internet came, like people thought, hey, nowadays I shop my groceries or do my shopping offline. I can maybe do that on the internet. People thought, hey, now I have education, I go to colleges, but now I can build kind of a university like lynda.com or things like that. So online things can be built. Anything that was offline, people started taking that offline. It was a revolutionary time. You must have heard of dot-com bubble as well. Like every single business that was going online was getting very good funded, and there was a lot of craze about the internet back in 90s. So I feel like that time is here again. So it is 2023 now, and AI is here. Everything is going to be revolutionized. The way you work, the content generation part that we are seeing these days with the chat GPT is just the start, but it will affect other areas as well. It will change a lot of things. Is not just affecting WordPress or any particular niche. The AI is going to probably change a lot of things, and this is going to be an opportunity for new businesses to be built, new ideas to come out. So it's a very interesting time. Yeah.
So, with regards to WordPress, what kind of changes do you think will happen in WordPress, especially because traditionally the idea was to write your website content by yourself, right? So now we have this AI tool to write everything for you. So,
So
do you think it's a good thing, or what do you think?
no, absolutely. As a human, we have to be optimistic about the changes that happen. I read somewhere that when there were farmers and when the tractor was introduced, people were very much scared. Now I'm going to lose my job and what's going to happen. But humans have always learned to adapt. There have been throughout the history many such changes, and humans have proven to be adaptable. With the AI, we will adapt as well. Speaking about the WordPress, there are typically three challenges that people have while they want to build a website. So the first challenge is that people don't know how to code, and thanks to WordPress, thanks to products such as Astra, the page building, or the block editor, Elementor, page builders like that, people don't need to be coders anymore. That problem is somewhat solved. Second challenge is the design challenge. People are not like designers. Even though now that problem is solved, people want to create a good looking website, and not everyone is a good designer, right? So that problem is solved by like templates such as our starter templates, Asta starter templates, and things like that. They get a frame and they have to like just change the images and words and things like that. So the design challenge is somewhat solved now. And the third problem that people face now is the content. Like people, when they want to build a website, they have to write all the copy. We might be like decent English speakers, but or decent English writers, but writing a copy for a website is a very different animal altogether. Like it is difficult. A lot of people struggle with that, and it is known to be the biggest challenge for people, which holds them back from launching their website. So with the AI, now that AI is there, people will be able to like even if you're a freelancer, if you're an agency, that the biggest hurdle that you had was to get the content from the client and get it in the right way. So now that AI is here, you will get better and you will be able to create content for your clients faster or for your own business in a easier manner. So you don't need those very special skills, or you don't always need to hire I mean, hiring is always better because you will, even though you have the tools, you need a people who is expert at those tools, right? So even though there is a Photoshop, you still need a designer to use the Photoshop. So in the same manner, like if you hire a copywriter, you'll probably get a better copy for your website. But if you don't have a budget for that, if you're not at that stage, you will be able to create good content yourself and you will be able to launch the website. So this is the biggest, very positive change that will come to the WordPress or website creation. People won't hold launching their websites just because they don't have a website. Like hosting companies know this problem. Like a lot of people sign up for the first year, but second year people don't renew their hosting because they are never able to finish their website, and that's only because they never were able to write the content for their website. So AI is going to solve that. So it's a very positive news for all the website design businesses, all the hosting companies, that they will be able to serve those
Right.
customers.
Right. Okay. So the final question that I have is recently you had become the advisor for Automatic. So how did that happen and what was the reason for that change?
Yeah, for those who don't know, Automatic is a company behind WordPress.com, WooCommerce.com, Jetpack.com, and many other products. So I specifically was invited, like I had opportunity to meet the Automatics mergers and acquisitions and investment team. So I had opportunity to meet that team quite a few times in various occasions, various WordCamps, various events, and we built up a very good synergy. So Automatic as a company wants to help WordPress ecosystem grow, since the founder of Automatic is the co-founder of WordPress itself. So they want to invest in the WordPress ecosystem. They want to support the entrepreneurs, to support the community. They want to support any good businesses that are coming from the WordPress ecosystem. I was invited to join them as a advisor because I think that they probably saw a value somewhere that I can advise their team on the right investments, right companies, or sharing the news that I know. So these days, I spend some time working closely with the Automatics mergers and acquisitions team as an advisor and advise them on like what are the good trends happening in the WordPress ecosystem, what are the new companies that are doing really well, or whenever they are evaluating some companies for the investment, I sometimes give my advice and my take on whether that is going to be a good investment or not. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Sujay. Like, do you have any other points that you would like to add from your side?
No, I mean, this is a very interesting time, like I said, for Indian entrepreneurs and actually all the global entrepreneurs. The challenge that I had when I started my business were very raw. And now those challenges don't need to be solved and you don't need to spend a lot of time in solving very stupid problems. Now you can just with an idea, you can build a website, you can get attraction, you can try things very fast. So it's a very interesting time, and I would just like to congratulate site learners for giving all the insights and all the education. And I would like to wish all the best to all the watchers of site learners as well. And yeah,
Thank you. Thanks a lot, Sujay.
thanks, Sham.
Sujay, you can tell our audience like where they can find you and where they can learn more about you.
I have a website where the very similar things that you learned, maybe some things that I missed out telling, are shared on my website. I have a my story page, I have a blog there. So the website is called sujaypawar.com. You will find my story there. And if someone wants to contact me, there is a contact form. Find my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my Twitter links there. So just visit sujaypawar.com and you will find me. If you want to learn about the company, search for Brainstorm Force. You will find our website and our products. So these are the two best ways to get in touch.
Great. Thank you.